Hi, so I'm going to show you a little demo that will explain what happens to carbs in your body after you eat them and what effect that has. So first of all, let me explain what we've got here. The beans represent carbohydrates that you've eaten that have already been broken down into sugar molecules in your body. The first stop on their journey is short-term storage, which is your muscles. Now, these are representing our muscles, and I've got two different sized bowls because different people have different size muscle mass. Some people have large muscle mass and some people have small muscle mass. This cup here represents when we burn energy. When we use our muscles, this energy gets used up. It goes away. It's no longer part of the mass of our body. And then this is long-term storage, which I'll explain a little bit more in a bit. So I'd like to present and compare two scenarios, two different kinds of breakfasts and lifestyles. So the first one I call my grandma's breakfast, and this is typically just how most people ate more than 100 years ago, ate and lived. So for breakfast, and I'm giving my grandma the large muscle mass because she worked out every day. Now, she never went to a gym. She didn't know what a workout was, but she carried buckets full of milk. She carried baskets full of wet laundry, not dry laundry, wet laundry, from the house out to the clothesline, hung them all up, took them down later, hoed in the garden, just a lot of muscle building, constant activity type things. So she had pretty good muscle mass. So for breakfast, she might have a couple of fried eggs, and there's no carbs in eggs. She might have, a biscuit or some pancakes or some hash browns or something carby like that. So that's some carbs in her breakfast. And she might also have, she always had black coffee for breakfast. Nothing in it, so no carbs there. So she's got some energy storage in her short-term storage in her muscles. Then after breakfast, she would go out and do her chores. She'd use those muscles, and she'd walk and she'd lift and carry things, and she burned up a lot of what she had eaten in breakfast. And there were no mid-morning snacks. There's no snacks on the farm. But so by the time lunchtime came around, her muscles were ready for more. She could add more to this bowl, and there was a good balance going on all the time. So that was pretty typical for how people lived until we started eating a lot more processed food, and we started having more machines do our work for us, and we started driving places and doing a lot more sitting. Here's what that looks like. So let's say a modern American woman's breakfast, she might start with breakfast cereal or a low-fat bagel or a muffin, something that's pretty carby. And she might, to be healthy, she might have some low-fat yogurt with that. A lot of carbs in low-fat yogurt, a lot more carbs than protein. So for example, original Yoplait strawberry banana yogurt has as much sugar as 2.5 donuts. Yeah. So, and then modern American woman's probably going to have a latte or a cappuccino or maybe even a Coke for breakfast. So some more carbs going in there. But then after breakfast, what happens? We mostly go and sit at our computers, right? Or we sit and watch something else. Now, sure, we're going to walk around the house a little bit and do some laundry, dry laundry. We're going to walk around the office or walk around the classroom. We might walk around the grocery store, but we're not doing a ton of moving. We're doing a lot of sitting, and we're not doing a lot of lifting. So we don't burn up that much. Now the other thing is, this breakfast didn't have a whole lot of protein in it. Remember, protein is the thing that helps us feel full longer. So a couple hours of breakfast, we're going to be hungry, and we're going to have a snack, and that snack is probably going to look something like a granola bar or crackers or popcorn, more carbs. So you can see by the time we get to lunch, we've still got a pretty full bowl. And, you know, our lunch is just going to add on to that. And so when this happens chronically over time, this bowl gets really full. Now, your muscles have a limited capacity to store energy. They're just like a glass container. They can only hold so much. Once they get up to the top, something's got to give. So here's what happens to the excess. The first thing that happens is the excess stays in the bloodstream. Now, my demo doesn't really have a good thing to illustrate the bloodstream, so you're just going to have to imagine it. But when your sugar is at a constantly high level in your blood sugar in your bloodstream, this is what's called high blood sugar. But too much blood sugar over time causes all kinds of damage. So your body's designed with symptoms to keep that blood sugar level down, to keep it within a healthy range. So to keep your blood sugar in a healthy range, what your body does is it puts it in long-term storage, which is this over here, which is body fat. When there's too much carbs, too much sugar that your muscles can't hold them, and it's getting to dangerous levels in your bloodstream, to protect that, your body puts it into long-term storage. And this storage is expandable. This could even be like a balloon, because you can just keep putting more and more sugar into body fat and it will just keep expanding. Now your body can adapt to the occasional increase if you have a good balance overall time, but you have a lot of birthday cake and ice cream. Your body can adapt to that and move on. If you splurge a lot at Christmas or Thanksgiving, your body can adapt to that and move on. It's not a big deal. But when this becomes a problem is when every day is Christmas and you have a treat every day and there's just this constant onslaught of too many carbs. It just creates this vicious cycle of more and more sugar in the bloodstream all the time. So when there's a lot of excess sugar, again, your body knows this is dangerous for your health long term, so it sends out extra insulin. Now your body is always using insulin to move the sugar around and put it into storage. That's one of insulin's jobs. Put it into short-term storage first and then long-term storage. But when your body's overloaded with sugar, your pancreas is going to pump out more and more and more insulin. And so you also start to have a high level of insulin in the blood too. And some doctors believe that high level of insulin is actually what makes you fat and what causes other damage. Now, one thing we do know that happens, although there's different theories as to why it happens, what causes it, is that over time, your body can create something called insulin resistance. And just like a drug user or an alcoholic, their cells become resistant to the substance and they need more and more to have the same effect. This theory says that too much insulin in the bloodstream over time can cause, we know that insulin resistance is a real thing. What causes it is the only debate. But so insulin resistance is when your cells become resistant to insulin. They don't hear the insulin anymore and they won't let it store any more sugar in the cells. And so you can see how if all your cells are capped because of insulin resistance, there's going to be even more sugar circulating through your bloodstream, more insulin, and more of it will keep going into long-term storage. So this demo has shown 3 things that you can do to keep your blood sugar level down, keep your weight gain down, and maybe prevent insulin resistance. What are they? Well, one is to eat fewer sugars and processed carbs so that you're not overloading your body. Another is to be moving all the time so that more stuff is being burned and used. But another one you might have missed is you can increase your muscle mass. So even if you don't have many muscles now, you can do strength training. You can do things to build your muscle mass, and that will give you more short-term storage. And so you'll be better able to hold and manage that carb intake all the time. You know, the movement only helps for the hours that you're moving, but if you have larger muscle mass, it helps with this all the time. So those are 3 things you can do to help your health, and it just boils down to choices, simple steps every day.